Sorry, I just got off work. I'm a little tired. But here we are again with another McFarlane Super Friends unboxing, and this is the Cheetah. And it just says Cheetah on the back, doesn't have the definite article there. So, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why. I suspect it's actually because of Super Friends, but I don't know for certain. For whatever reason, the cheetah is considered Wonder Woman's arch nemesis. And frankly, this is something that I don't get. You know, like Ares to me kind of makes more sense as Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, or as they called him in the Golden Age, Mars. They used the Roman name back then, and switched to so they used the Roman names and the Greek names interchangeably in Golden and Silver Age Wonder Woman stories, but when George Perez took over Wonder Woman, he decided that he was going to strictly adhere to the Greek names for the gods. So no more of Mars, no more of Cupid, say for example, no more of Mercury. It was all Hermes and Eros and Ares. So yeah, I kind of feel like Ares. That's the guy who should really be the arch nemesis of Wonder Woman. And even beyond the cheetah, there's other interesting Wonder Woman villains for her to face. Like Giganta is my personal favorite Wonder Woman villain. She's a character that I find really interesting. The Blue Snowman is a really weird character. Doctor Psycho is a perfect Wonder Woman villain to me because he's like kind of like the ultimate misogynist. That's pretty cool. So for a villain, yeah, I mean, yeah, like Doctor Poison. That's a villain that actually showed up in the first Wonder Woman movie, and they did a great job with Doctor Poison. So why is the cheetah Wonder Woman's greatest nemesis? It's never really been anything, honestly, that made a whole heck of a lot of sense to me. Did I bring Catwoman over here with me? I had Catwoman. I definitely pulled her out. I knew where a Catwoman figure was, and now I don't know what I did with her. Uh, what did I? Where did I put the Catwoman figure? We're gonna need that Catwoman figure because I definitely want to do some comparing with this figure. Here she is. Yeah, I had her sitting on the arm of the couch and she fell off. I'm gonna move that guy over. Okay, so here we are back. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had the 66 Catwoman. I don't know where my Julie Newmar figure is right now. I have no idea. But I do have the Eartha Kitt figure, and she's going to do just as well for this review. Lone Dragon says, "Holy ungodly hour, Batman." Well, for me, I mean, like it's almost time for me to go to sleep. That's how my hours work. But I decided I'd go ahead and crank this one out real fast before I gotta do my paperwork and hit the hay. So and maybe later on in the afternoon I'll go ahead and open up Toy Man because I do need to crank these out. I've got to do Toy Man, and then I've got to do the double feature with Superman and Universe of Evil Superman. So you see that she's got that same gigantic with the two flares there, the space to put the accessories, and she only comes with one accessory. It's a teeny tiny little Legion of Doom walkie-talkie. But how's she even supposed to hold it? Because she reuses Catwoman's hands, and it's those kind of claw-like hands, as we'll see in a little bit. But let's go ahead and open up the figure, and then we can get into all that. And she got a trading card here, and we can see that it's got probably from the model sheet piece of artwork with the cheetah, as our beloved narrator says, and she's about to do her claws. So and a little cheetah logo on there, and the back looks the same as the other backs that we've seen on these cards. So this assortment has two superheroes with Superman and the Flash, and then 3 supervillains. The villains are outnumbering the heroes so far. We've got the Cheetah, we've got uh, Captain Cold, and we've got Toyman. Toyman will be the next episode, and we got the Black Superman, the Super Enemies Superman in his black outfit. So that makes 4 supervillains. Lone Dragon says, yeah, sometimes it's good to crank one out before sleeping. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Yeah, like we're not going to show that on YouTube, though. I don't think YouTube would frown upon that if I know I say that this is not a show for children, but I say that a lot of the time. But that don't mean I want to get that blue. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, some folks have got to want to see it, but this ain't the place for it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm like butter pecan. That's why they make ice cream flavors, and besides vanilla and chocolate, sometimes the lady wants some butter pecan. I'm butter pecan. That's all I'm saying. All right, so here we got the Cheetah out of the package, and got our little Legion of Doom communicator that, like, can she even hold on to this at all? Can I maybe pinch it in between the thumb and the finger? It doesn't seem to want to fit in there at all. I suppose I could lay it flat in the palm of her hand if I could get her elbow to bend. And that's about the best you're going to be able to do with that, is kind of lay it flat in the palm of her hand, which if you wanted to just sit there on your shelf, that's going to work. But if you're a kid playing with this, like, yeah, the slightest nudge, it's going to fall into the floor, maybe get lost in the carpet. Mom vacuums it up. And technically, these aren't really supposed to be children's playthings. What does the age say on here? 12 and up. 12 and up. So these are adult collectibles. These aren't playthings of children. These are adult collectibles. They're supposed to be taken very seriously. So you're supposed to put the Cheetah on the shelf and place the walkie-talkie gently in her open hand, and that's how you're supposed to display her, I suppose. But I'm not even gonna fool with that. I'm gonna put this into a box of spare parts, and that's how that's gonna be. So she does have an extra limb, which is this tail, which the tail seems to be. It looks to me like it's actually sculpted in to the rear end here. It actually looks like it might be a piece that's glued on, but if it's glued on, it's glued on in such a way where, like, it's fairly seamless. It looks to me like this is actually molded in between her buttocks. So and it does not pose, unfortunately. It's not a bendy tail. It's not articulated at all. It's just a piece of plastic that's hanging out of her posterior. And it looks to me like it might come out of the spine, like a tail's supposed to come out of the spine, but it doesn't fit in between her. How do I put this delicately? It doesn't stick up where the sun don't shine, if you know what I mean. It's not like a plug, like you might see in one of those videos that Lone Dragon's talking about, that you might crank one out to. It's not something like that. It's well, this is a really dirty episode. I'm sorry. But as I pointed out, the Cheetah does reuse a lot of parts from the previous Catwoman figure, and we're going to talk about what parts those are. And it's the arms, mainly. The arms are exactly the same, it looks like to me, as Catwoman. It looks like it has the same wrinkles and everything, matches up exactly. She's got the same hands with the same claws sculpted into the fingertips. Now, of course, they didn't really paint them on this figure, but Catwoman on the television show, she had golden nails glued onto her gloves, and but they're not painted on the figure for whatever reason. But they're still sculpted on to Cheetah here, so she's got the same hands as Catwoman. It makes sense to use Catwoman pieces to make Cheetah because she always had a kind of similar outfit to Catwoman, but Also, I'm going to point this out is the Cheetah originally was not going to be in the Legion of Doom. It was going to be Catwoman. They had originally intended. We'll talk more about this when we get to Toyman because I got a theory about that. But it's pretty well known that originally they were going to have Catwoman in the Legion of Doom, and that Cheetah wound up taking that spot. Now, of course, the reason that the Catwoman didn't make the cut and Cheetah fit in there instead is because the Filmation New Adventures of Batman cartoon was being made around that same time, and because of that, unfortunately, Hanna-Barbera did not have the rights to many Batman villains. I think they split them up, like basically. Hanna-Barbera was given two Batman villains they could use, and one was the Riddler, who of course is definitely an A-list Batman villain, one of the big four, and the Scarecrow, who is a very cool Batman villain, but a more minor one, especially at that time. And I pointed out before when I've talked about the Scarecrow is that the Scarecrow actually did have a very prolific career in animation. As far as Batman villains go, I would say that he actually, like I said, probably actually appeared in more cartoons than the Joker. Oddly enough, definitely appeared in more than the Penguin or Catwoman herself. So yeah, she wound up being kind of a substitute Catwoman in that show. Now this is the Priscilla Rich version of the Cheetah. There's a few different versions of the Cheetah. The other one is named Barbara Minerva, and I believe the post-crisis version is also Barbara Minerva. That was the one where George Perez decided to make her kind of a were cheetah type of character, and I think that worked out really well and made her a little bit less of a Catwoman knockoff, which she kind of was back in the day. Although she had an interesting origin, I must say, where Priscilla Rich was basically like kind of a jealous beauty, and this mirror image, she saw herself in the mirror as the cheetah, and so she has kind of a split personality. So she started out being like kind of a little bit more than just a Catwoman knockoff, but kind of gradually became just kind of a Catwoman knockoff. And her original costume looked very similar to this, with this kind of cap, this kind of it was not a hood that was attached to a neck piece like this, though. It being attached to the onesie, that's kind of a flourish of the Super Friends cartoon. The original design, it was actually kind of more similar to how Catwoman's outfit looked, where the neck was exposed and it had a little bit of a lower collar. And I think there were probably more spots on that version, but they had to simplify it for the animation. So yeah, and I love the head sculpt. They did a great job with the head sculpt. Looks just like the cartoon. She looks really awesome. I think they did a great job with the cheetah. Oh yeah, we were talking about some of the parts that were in common in this. So this is an all new torso, although it does seem like it's kind of based on the same sculpt, like the standard buck kind of looks the same. It's shaped vaguely the same, but it does not have any of the detail of the television series. The Catwoman figure, the necklace is gone, the collar is gone, and they actually took out all the seams and everything. So this is just a smooth spandex type outfit. We can see more muscular detail in her abs. I don't know if that's coming through on the camera because of all the yellow, but yeah, it's an all new torso, all new pelvis, and looks to me like all new lower legs. You can see that whereas Catwoman had the kind of booties with the high heels. Make sure you can see those high heels there. They're pointy little stilettos. Cheetah's got plain legs. There's some wrinkling here, which is sculpted in, and she does still have the seam down the thigh. And does that run up the torso? It looks like it runs up the torso. So I guess that seam is still there. And then there's some wrinkling at the ankles. I guess probably to make it consistent with the wrinkling at the gloves. Of course, the animated one didn't have this many wrinkles drawn into it, but I can forgive that. Forgive a little bit of extra detail. I think that's fine. And then she's just got flat sort of, it's like the booties that are sewn into the onesie. Like, so she's got this onesie. She's like a little girl at Halloween or something, like a little cat costume, like a little girl might wear. her mom just kind of made her a hood and sewed a tail onto the back end of the onesie that she already had as pajamas. So yeah, that's the cheetah pretty much. Let's go ahead and talk about her articulation. So cheetah can actually look down pretty well and look up about that far. And like I said, I don't think these are really designed to have that much side to side movement. She can kind of tilt her head quizzically from side to side. So any kind of extra head movement you get out of this is a bonus. It's not really, I don't think, intended to be on there. Of course, the head does rotate all the way around. I'm pretty sure that's the only thing it's really intended to do. And then the arms should rotate all the way around the shoulders, but man, they're stiff. So yeah, arms rotate all the way around the shoulders. They raise up about that far. That's actually a really good pose there. She's nice and creepy there. Wrists rotate all the way around. They're not stuck like poor old Captain Cold, so that's good. The cheetah has a single point of articulation at the elbow, which extends, straightens up about that far, bends up about that far, about 90 degrees, rotates all the way around, so that's nice. Of course, the waist rotates all the way around, and that's a pretty stiff waist joint. She does not have the buttocks sculpted onto her trunks. They're sculpted onto the thighs, so we can move the leg all the way back that far. We can move the leg to the front all the way that far, and she can do the splits no problem. But you can't sit her on a surface that way because of the tail. It does not move. It's just a solid tail that's stuck on there. But we can get the cheetah into a pretty cool running position, I think, because of that. Although it won't really look that good because of the tail. It doesn't flow backwards like we might like it to. If there's one disappointment that I have about this figure is they did not articulate the tail. I think that articulating the tail would have improved on this figure quite a bit. Here she is kind of skulking around. So yeah, for a character that's a knockoff Catwoman, they did a really good job with her. And I know that Cheetah has her fans, and I don't mean to malign the character. I'm sorry if you're a big fan of this character and you feel like I'm not treating her with the proper respect. But I mean, Catwoman is superior. I'm sorry. We're just gonna be real about that. Catwoman up here, Cheetah down here. That's just how it is. So yeah. Even though Catwoman did not make the show, Cheetah did kind of fill that role, and I think she did okay at filling that role. I'm always going to be a bigger fan of Catwoman, though, to be honest. And Eartha Kitt, she was a pretty great Catwoman, wasn't she? I always say that Halle Berry is my second favorite Catwoman, and that every other Catwoman is tied for first. So so yeah, and nothing against Halle Berry. I love Halle Berry, but that movie let her down. She maybe could have been a great Catwoman if she had better material to work with. I'm going to be honest, but yeah, she needed a better script and some better direction. I think if let's say Christopher Nolan, if that movie had never happened and Christopher Nolan had cast her instead of Anne Hathaway in Dark Knight Rises, we'd probably be having a very different conversation about Catwoman right now. Let me only put it that way. So yeah, the cheetah is pretty cool, and she's definitely going to want to be a figure that you're going to want to pick up if you're collecting this line and you want to get the entire Legion of Doom. But will we get the entire Legion of Doom? That's the real question. I will say that if you're somebody who, like me, collected the old DC Universe Classics figure from Mattel, I don't think they had a classic. Did they have a classic Cheetah? I don't remember. So, but even if they did, it was more the comic book version of the classic Cheetah. So if you want a true Super Friends version, this is definitely one that you're going to want to pick up if you collected those figures. So far in our Legion of Doom, we've got this guy, the number one. We got Lex Luthor, the head honcho. We got Sinestro. We got Captain Cold. We got the Riddler. We got the Cheetah. So that's 5 of them so far. And then Toyman, that'll be the next one I open. So that will bring us up to 6. And of course, there are 13 members of the Legion of Doom. So we're almost halfway through the Legion of Doom, aren't we? And I know they got more members on the way, but will they be able to finish up the entire team before McFarlane loses the license, and at the end of in June of 2026. Will they really lose the license? Think about it. Think about it. These are technically DC Direct toys, aren't they? I want to say that these fit under the DC Direct umbrella, and that if it did, I tore it off accidentally. So McFarlane actually he bought DC Direct from DC, so he owns DC Direct. So maybe he's got some tricks up his sleeve, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to seeing what Mattel does with the line. Lone Dragon says Solomon Grundy won't paints too. Solomon Grundy is a must. I really hope they get around to Solomon Grundy. Of course, I do still have over here. He's sitting on my couch. His leg fell off. This guy, the DC Classics Solomon Grundy. His legs are on here somewhere. It fell off on the couch. It has a tendency to pop out of its socket. But yeah, and I think I pointed out before. I kind of feel like this guy he's even though he's supposed to be in scale with this figure, since they're about the same scale. Like, I actually kind of feel like he fits in better with the McFarlanes, and the one that McFarlane made for Arkham Asylum, that one actually fits in better with DC Universe Classics, like in terms of scale, not in terms of aesthetics. Where did his leg go? That's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to find his leg. I got too much stuff on this couch. I need to clean off this couch. I've been needing to clean off this couch. It's a mess. So, we'll find it later. It's going to drive me crazy, though. I'm going to have to, probably once I finish this video, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just tear apart this couch, see if I can find his leg. That's a very expensive leg to lose, by the way. This is one of the more expensive of the collect and connect figures from DC Universe Classics. Anyway, that's it for Cheetah. Next episode is going to be the Toy Man, and that's going to be an interesting figure to talk about. I don't think I like this figure quite as much as Captain Cold, but I definitely like her better than the Flash. So that's how I'm ranking these so far. Captain Cold #1, Cheetah #2, Flash is #3. But we'll see how everything ranks up once we open up Toy Man and the 2 Superman figures. So that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about the Cheetah, both the character in general and this figure specifically. And let me know in the comments if you think I'm being a little too harsh on this character. If you think that she does deserve the spot as being the #1 Wonder Woman villain, or if you maybe you agree with me, maybe it ought to be Ares. Maybe Ares is the #1 villain these days, but I think he should be considered the #1 Wonder Woman villain. Maybe you got another favorite. Maybe you like Giganta or the Silver Swan or Angleman or the Blue Snowman or any of these weird Golden Age villains. There were just so many just bizarre Golden Age villains. Dr. Psycho, like I said, that's another one that I really like. But yeah, Ares I think should be #1. Ares is like, well, I was gonna say he's God tier, but he's literally a god, isn't he? He's the god of war. So Jose Membrane is here, and nice to see you. Too bad it's at the tail end of the video, but it was always good to see you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe, so I like to say like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I like it when you leave comments. YouTube likes it too, but I think I like it a little more than YouTube. That's just me. And Lone Dragon says, I like negative Wonder Woman. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to get around to doing all of the super enemies. That's another one, because they got 3 teams going with the Super Friends and the Legion of Doom and the Super Enemies. And so far, we've got Superman and Batman. And if you were only going to do 2, I figure Superman and Batman be the ones to have. But I haven't seen any plans for Wonder Woman yet. I don't know. Like, is she one of the ones that's been announced yet? I don't remember. Uh, but like just Wonder Woman in general, I kind of figured that it would make sense if we would see the the Universal Evil versions show up at the same time that we see the standard versions. So I know Aquaman is coming in the next wave. I guess we'll see if we get a Super Enemies Aquaman with the eye patch. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.